Hello again, YouTubers, on with SpongeBob 101, back here again on the SpongeBob channel. We are reviewing episode 280, Abandoned Twits and Wallhalla. The synopsis states, the Krusty crew builds a boat for their penny-pinching captain. Also, SpongeBob discovers a crazed castaway living in his walls. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Abandoned Twits is one of the funnier episodes in season 13 thus far, based solely on how much it made me laugh while watching it for the first time. Of course, the title is a variation of Abandoned Ship because, you know, a yacht is a ship, right? So the episode centers around another Mr. Krabs plot to make more money by tricking his employees into thinking that he's actually rewarding them. The episode starts off after closing time in the Krusty Krab, where SpongeBob and Squidward discuss what they're gonna do during the weekend, with several really cool scenes, including Squidward dancing in the culture shock style. Krabs invites them to join him on a yacht, to which they agree. They arrive at the Gru Lagoon boat harbor the next day, only to realize that the yacht has to be built first, and obviously SpongeBob and Squidward are the laborers, whilst Krabs supervises them while taking a nap on the side. This leads to a whole lot of silliness, and the running gag here is that no matter what Squidward does to protect himself, he'll somehow get hurt by SpongeBob's actions. They find putting the frame of the ship together extremely difficult, and Krabs is just like, well, the kit provides it, man. So that was really a slap in the face moment. More of the story, do a check before you make a claim. The two of them continue work on the frame, and no matter whether Squidward works below the deck or on the deck, somehow SpongeBob's actions always bite Squidward in the butt, and also potentially cause him to explode. I'm noticing that explosions are becoming even more common than before. The finished product looks like a wreck. Literally, but that's easily solved with a coat of paint in true cartoon fashion. We do get to see the loser characters from the Ripped Pants episode, along with a host of other returning incidentals in this episode, which is really cool to see. Once they're in the lagoon, Krabs finally reveals his true intentions. The S.S Sea-cret Formula is actually a Krusty Krab on the high seas. So it looks like the plan was an upgrade from trying to sell Krabby Patties on the surfboard in SpongeBob versus the Big One, so that's a plus. Squidward, being critical as usual, questions whether the idea really works, but he is immediately silenced by Patrick, who just jumps out of the lagoon in his scuba gear and orders a patty before walking the plank back into the water. We do get a montage of selling patties on the high seas, but that is cut short, unfortunately, by Bubble Bass, who essentially ruins everything. So he's basically waiting in the lagoon, and unfortunately the yacht is unable to take enough evasive action to avoid his butt. Yeah, his butt literally slices through the hull of the yacht, and I mean, really, Bubble Bass has got to be one of the most terrible characters in the show, just based on what he does in any episode. So the crew serves up their lost Krabby Patty before capsizing into the lagoon. We then fast forward to sundown, where suddenly the Kraken from Camp Coral emerges from the lagoon carrying the yacht with all three of them on board and orders Krabby Patties. How did they even stay alive for so long under the goo? I mean, it could be just water and they're sea creatures and all that, but I thought SpongeBob can't even swim in Goo Lagoon, so yeah. I think the plot is a simple yet good one. The writers definitely piled on with references to past episodes, characters from the past, and the classic Squidward pseudo-torture, although in this case it was actually quite entertaining to see. I'll give the plot an 8 out of 10. Too bad Bubble Bass ruined the ship though. I would have liked a more nice ending to the episode. Animation gets 9 out of 10. I really like the build your own ship concept and how it came to life in this episode. Plus, there were so many ways in which Squidward got pummeled in this one, from the anchor to the safe and the mandatory explosion, plus all the characters from the past designed to fit the latest art style. Unique characteristics gets 8 out of 10. Yeah, well, Krabs taking advantage of Squidward and SpongeBob is not new. Well, the use of the yacht was a really good idea, and I definitely want to see more Krabs schemes that take them out of the Krusty Krab itself in the future. So overall, Abandoned Twits gets 25 out of 30 from me. Moving on to Wallhalla. SpongeBob's personality can be really annoying, especially to other characters within the show like Squidward, but it's not too often that we see another unknown character show up with a distaste for SpongeBob's trait, like his laughter or even the sound of his shoes. We've had episodes like New Fish in Town, but not that often. So Wallhalla is the name of the realm behind the wallpaper or the drywalls in SpongeBob's Pineapple. Kind of weird since there's entire corridors behind the walls, despite it being shown from the outside as if they were sandwiched behind the wallpaper itself. The episode starts off with SpongeBob not being able to locate Gary, and searches for him, of course. He notices that a door to his parents' home within a painting is actually open. He crawls in, the wind blows by, shutting the door from the outside and trapping him within the walls, to the disappointment of Harold SquarePants, SpongeBob's father. I thought that scene in particular was really creative. SpongeBob wonders for a bit before being confronted by Wally, a former handyman that was trapped behind the wallpapers by some construction workers who simply plastered the wallpaper over him when SpongeBob's Pineapple was being constructed. That is a really crazy backstory. What's even more crazy is that he never attempts to escape. He demonstrates several magic appliances that turns out to just be SpongeBob's appliances, but opened from the back. So you can open SpongeBob's fridge and the bathroom mirror cabinet from the back as well. There is a pretty gross scene where he uses SpongeBob's toothbrush to brush his nose before putting the toothbrush back. That's like sticking the toothbrush into the toilet bowl. Wally also expresses his intense hatred for what turns out to be SpongeBob, but SpongeBob obviously doesn't realize that he's been the one who's driving Wally mad. After Wally finishes giving the tour of Wallhalla to SpongeBob and Gary, they sit down for a meal before SpongeBob finally laughs, and Wally absolutely goes berserk. So a chase begins with Wally hunting down SpongeBob and Gary, and it is here that Patrick arrives at the pineapple looking for SpongeBob. Upon not physically seeing SpongeBob, he makes himself at home. This part really emphasizes the cluelessness on part of Patrick, or just the fact that he's ignoring everything. There is also a segment where a package containing cookies from SpongeBob's mom arrives, and just because it doesn't have Patrick's name, he brings it over to the toilet and flushes it to return to sender. This is typical stupid nonsense, but I must say I did laugh at it. And to make it even sillier, Patrick actually then stuffs his entire head into the box and starts munching on the quote-unquote not for him cookie, while the box is still in the toilet. Eventually, SpongeBob and Gary burst out of the bathroom walls and expose Wally to the outside world, which he previously refused to return to, claiming that he doesn't miss it at all. Patrick actually provides the impetus here, a Krabby Patty. And who can resist Krabby Patties, right? Definitely not Wally. Wally reveals that he has been rationing a rotten Krabby Patty for decades, and this gives SpongeBob the idea of having Wally live within the walls of the Krusty Krab instead. So the episode ends with Wally enjoying a giant Krabby Patty before scaring the daylights out of Squidward by popping off the cash register. And also, Wally does repeat his dislike for SpongeBob's laugh. I'm on the fence regarding Wally. On one hand, I think the concept of him being trapped in there, although being quite ridiculous, is a decent plot point. But on the other hand, the fact that he's gone mad, which to be honest is expected if you live within the walls for decades, kind of makes me not like him. So it's kind of like a weird dynamic there. And in terms of exploring SpongeBob's house, this time behind the walls, okay, you know, I guess it was decent. There was definitely no hidden treasure in there though, so plot gets 7 out of 10. Animation gets 7 out of 10 as well. Very standard animation in this one, but I did really like the use of the photo frame as a gateway to Wallhalla. Plus the walls of Wallhalla kind of remind me of the inside of the gumball from The Gift of Gum, and the cookies in the toilet were strangely interesting. Unique characteristics gets a 7 out of 10. I would say this episode explores an area of the series that is rarely touched on. It's not like a huge journey to some far-off place, but rather just within the walls of SpongeBob's Pineapple. Plus, having a castaway type character revealed to be living within the walls the whole time is actually a really huge update to SpongeBob's Pineapple's history. So overall, Wallhalla gets 21 out of 30 from me. So that's all for this review video, guys. Let me know in the comments box below what you thought about these two segments here. Make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys again in the next SpongeBob video coming real soon. Until then, see ya!